Hey everybody, it's Nerdy30. Wanted to say thank you for joining me once again for another episode of my old school RuneScape Ironman series. In this episode, we're going to keep it nice and simple, and we're going to be achieving one of the goals I set for the early part of the series in episode 2. We're going to be completing the Easy Ardone Diary for the cloak that will give me a good cape slot upgrade, a permanent teleport to the west side of the map without having to work on other methods or waiting on a time delay for using minigame teleports, and will give me access to a prayer altar relatively quick for easy prayer recharge. So sit back and enjoy. This is going to be an easy episode. It's just going to be simply completing those requirements to get the cloak. So sit back and enjoy. Once again, thank you for giving me your time, and if you have any constructive criticism or feedback, please leave a comment below. I read every comment and try to reply to it if I can, and the feedback that I get from the community is what really is going to help me produce a better product. One of the biggest reasons I want to get the Ardone Easy Diary complete is one of the requirements is the city, I believe it's Plague City and Biohazard. Those two quests will give me access to West Ardone without having to go through that underground access spot. I can just go through the gate. There is a general store in the far southwest corner of the map that's is one of, I believe, 4 shops in the game that sell or they purchase items at 55% of their high alch value. So that's going to really help be able to secure some early game funds. In this clip right here, I'm training my thieving up so I can steal from, or so I can get access to, I believe, the Ham hideout, so I can try to get a rusty sword. And wanted to give a shout out to this player I was talking to. His name was Droxy. We got to chatting, and he pointed out that I was standing in not the greatest of spots, and where I'm standing here was kind of much better for my success rate. That was his main, splashing on the knight, and he's pickpocketing under me. And we got to talking about the game, and just kind of enjoyed. It was nice. Like I said in the first episode, one of the things I really miss about the game is those personal interactions. And fun fact, this account that you see right here, dapper looking fellow, is my one defense pure that I'm working on 99 fishing on while I'm in the background playing this account. My one defense pure has 99 magic, 63 combat, and unlocked the fishing pet really young. I think at like 58 fishing or so. It's been a couple years since I got it, but I'll be playing on that account in the background, so you may see it pop in from time to time. We were talking about peers here, and I just thought it was kind of neat to pull it out because I brought mine and he brought his, so it was kind of cool. But I really think that this new form factor that I'm doing for my videos with the shorter length seems to be the feedback I'm getting in the comments seems to be like this is the route I need to go. And honestly, it's quite easier for me to be able to knock these out quickly when I'm not trying to sift through 7 or 8 hours of footage. Now, the Rusty Sword became one of the hardest items for me to get, that I think I went well over the drop rate for it, which I believe it's 1 in 128, if not lower. But as you can see from the footage, I was here for a long time. I want to say it took me an hour and a half to get that Rusty Sword, and I got several pieces of ham equipment and other spots or other items that had a significantly higher drop rate than the Rusty Sword. And it was kind of frustrating, honestly. Got a lot of filler junk though, run it to the bank or to the general store and keep what I wanted to keep and sell off the rest. It wasn't an amazing money maker, but I was able to make, I think I made, 1,500 gold off of the time I was there, which, when you have less than 10k cash, that's a pretty good improvement to your cash stack. So enjoy the little montage real quick, and I'll be back in a few minutes. So when I started the grind for this Rusty Sword, I kind of was freaking out, not sure how I was going to source a lockpick for this entrance to the ham hideout, but the RuneScape Wiki, being the amazing resource that it is, reminded me that I don't actually need to have a lockpick. You just have a lower chance of success when you're using your fingers. But I believe there's 4 locks in the game, if I remember the article correctly, that talk about there's 4 locks in the game that you can pick without having to have a lock pick. Thieving is a skill that I've never really delved into too much. Usually gotten to 60 or 70, but I've never really seen a reason to get much higher. But maybe that'll change with this account, considering this whole series is about change and exploring new aspects of the game I've never done before. And with this little slow motion effect, we finally got our Rusty Sword. It was ridiculously long, and I went way over the rate for it, to the point that I almost completed my ham robe set. I think I still need the legs, the cape, and the hood, and that's it. And I got a herb that was quite a bit higher drop rate than the sword, but it just took forever to get done. In the next couple episodes, I'm going to be working on getting some early questing knocked out. I did a couple of quests on the side that I wasn't filming, while I was working on the videos. Unfortunately, I actually was in the hospital today. Had a minor bacterial infection that kind of took me off kilter for the last day, and I'm going to be out of work for the next couple of days recovering. So I'm trying to get caught up on episodes. If you've watched episode 1, I did mention that I had played, when I decided to create the account and start this, I had played over a 4-day weekend, so I actually had footage for episodes, I think 1 through 4, if not 5, pretty much filmed and at least recorded on my end. That just needed editing and put out. So I'm going to use the next few days to try to get caught up to where I'm putting out stuff as it's coming. You know, if I spend 2 or 3 hours over a day or two and it's significant progress, I'll make a video. I think that'll help cut down from these, 30 plus minute videos I had in the beginning of the series. And this video here is just short of 15 minutes. So once again, thank you for the feedback. I can't remember exactly what your username was from the last video, episode 3, in the comments, but I had a hunch that the shorter runtime was going to be more beneficial and more interesting to everybody involved, and you confirmed that. So thanks once again for that feedback. I hope you enjoy episode 4, and as you can see, we are just rolling through some quests. There's going to be certain things that I go more in depth on in the series, and there's going to be some things I kind of gloss over. I mean, there's thousands of videos on YouTube of completing free-to-play quests and achievement diaries and stuff, so you're going to see me doing it, and it's a journey. It's not a destination. So if something happens interesting along the way, I can find, I can have the footage and we can go over and talk about it. But that's why you'll see more footage of me killing monsters or checking clue skull loot or whatnot, because that factor where RNG plays a part of the game is really, to me, where the fun is. So this episode was pretty straightforward. It felt good to actually knock off a list from the goals I set in episode 2. So once again, if you're curious about what the goals I have for the early level account goals are, to refer back to episode 2. I know it's a little long, but it's right past the intro, so maybe 2 minutes in. It's not super deep into the body of the video, but I really like the idea of the Ironman mode, because it requires me to be self-sufficient and changes the way I think, how I play the game. But I also really enjoy the one chunk game mode. I do not have the time, anywhere near the time, to dedicate to actually being productive and put out good content with that series, but the idea of having some goals set in place on an unofficial capacity, something to work towards, A, keeps me organized, and B, makes the progress that much sweeter when I'm not just floundering around wondering what the heck I'm gonna do. So this is where the series is going, and I'm super excited to get done with a goal and getting the cape. Now, I will say the one thing I did kind of forget about was the experience lamps that you get with these diaries. I was super excited to put that experience in a skill until I realized at this point in time I had no skills at level 30 or above for me to use. So unfortunately, I'm not quite happy with how I used it, but I wanted the inventory space because you can't bank the stupid things. So knowing what I know now, through process and error, I'm going to kind of slow roll the rest of the achievement diaries in ensuring that experience isn't wasted. But if you made it this far in the video, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining me on episode 4. I was super proud of where we're at with the account. Now I have, between the Chronicle and the Cape, I can teleport, basically to the east and west sides of the map relatively quickly. This teleport now will allow me to escape without using any money for resources. So from here, we're going to start laying the foundations to push towards the end game. I think long term the goal is to get into bossing. I really do like bossing, God Wars and Barrows. So eventually that's where I'd like to get this account to the point that that's where I'm running. So if you liked what you saw, please consider giving a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll have episode 5 out in the next day or so. Once again, thank you for watching. I'm Nerdy30 and I'm signing out.